And now get ready to feel some late night morning wood. Yeah.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh, wow. Okay. Can you hear me good, dude?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Wow. This is a freaking honor to talk to you, man. Wow. This is blowing my mind right now. So, gosh, Three Friends and Jerry hit America on Fox Kids when I would have been 11. And I was a huge fan. And it kind of got taken off the air over here pretty quick. I almost want to say, I mean, the rumor over the years is that it was banned because it kind of wasn't a kid's show. Could you elaborate on that just a little bit before we get into it?
Well, it wasn't supposed to be a kid show from the beginning. When I did a short first back in 90. I don't remember, 94 or something like that, 93, 94. And they were drinking and they were, so it was a totally different level on the edginess on that one. And they were smoking cigarettes and stuff like that.
And it was all the same four boys and everything like that?
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Okay.
But it was like for adults, basically.
Yeah, because I would consider you an adult cartoonist. Am I wrong in saying so? But
yeah, I think for me it has been most fun to do either for very small kids or for adults, teenage adults.
No middle ground, right?
But when the Three Friends and Jerry, that was like tweaking into fit the what's the word for tweenies or?
Was the first cartoon that you got that was put on TV was Robin?
No, I had done a lot of stuff before. I was working for, at that time, like 90, 91. That was on the Swedish main television. There was youth, a lot of youth programs. There weren't that many stations in Sweden at that time, so everybody saw it. And I was doing one miniseries a year for 3 or 4 years for them, completely by myself, and it was like 26 1-minute episodes, and they put it on between rock videos and stuff like that. And one was called Mr. Carlsson. It was like a little bit like a Bill Clinton stuff, with Bill Clinton, the animator.
Say that again.
Bill Clinton, do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit like his style.
Okay.
That series. Another was in clay. It's called Alice in Plasmaland. And it was very weird, small stories, and that was adult stuff.
Well, everything you do is kind of weird to an extent, I would say. You have a very crude style. I absolutely love your style. Yeah, absolutely. I love everything that I've seen that you've done. I've just fallen in love with. I mean, you could. Right off the bat, always tell it's you. It's kind of a weird transition for me because when Three Friends Jerry came out, it was taken away so quick. And then Da Mob came out soon thereafter. And that seemed really short-lived over here, too. I maybe caught like 2 or 3 episodes, and then it just seemed like it was gone like that. And then around that time, the internet started becoming more accessible, and I discovered Robin. And I think that's when I really like fell into this rabbit hole of like, okay, what the fuck is this guy doing? Because you could always tell Three Friends and Jerry had some undertones, but also there were a lot of rumors surrounding it. One, that in Sweden, the kids actually did swear. Is that true?
Yeah. I haven't thought about it so much, but maybe some other
Okay. Have you really watched the English dub first off?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you like it, or do you feel like they changed a lot with the script, or is it pretty much like on point?
But everything with the Tre Vännerna and Jerry was, as I told you, it wasn't supposed to be for that target group in the beginning. But on the other hand, it was it was fun to do something for such a big audience that it was. It was sold to over 180 countries, I think.
Yeah, it's insane.
So that was interesting, and also doing in a big industrial way. I never did that before. The series I did for television earlier, it was me and maybe 2 person more at top, and now we were like 500 or 600 or 700 people involved in producing the Tre Vännerna and Jerry. So it was a big, totally different thing to do.
Yeah, so prior to Three Friends and Jerry, you were kind of working really like small, few people and all that. Like how many people was it? Was Robin like solely something you were doing by yourself? Because Robin, I love Robin. There is a vibe to that show that no other show has ever captured, in my opinion. And while I'm watching it, all these years, I always kind of pictured, what was it like when you were writing it? You know, were you just, I almost picture you in Robin's room, just maybe like bummed out and drunk or something, and just...
Actually, that was my first apartment I did have.
Okay.
At least in Stockholm, maybe I had someone before, but it was my first apartment.
And did you have a friend named Benjamin that you started fires with and went to strip clubs with, or anything like that?
No, I don't know where I got him from, but he's no, I don't know that. But I borrow from my life. I borrow, maybe Robin wasn't me, but in Tre Vännerna and Jerry, a lot of the characters were based on my buddies that I had when I was little.
Elaborate on that a bit, if you will. Were you anybody in Three Friends and Jerry? Were you Frank? Were you Jerry? Or were those friends of yours, kind of?
I was someone in more. If I was someone, I was more like Thomas, I think.
Really? Okay.
Jerry, he was a genuine guy. He was like that in real life as well.
Yeah, Jerry's a good soul. Jerry's also a liar, though, and a gloater. Likes to exaggerate things. But he's also the great plot device of coming up with the ideas and schemes half the time. And then the three friends always throw him under the bus, usually at the end.
Everything with Jerry is that he's an outsider and he wants to come into the group, and he's like
he likes the challenge
for the others to like it.
He likes the challenge, though, obviously, because there's one episode where they move to another town, which is pretty much like a Shelbyville, if you will, to the other town. But in this polar opposite town, everyone just accepts him and embraces him instantly, and he can't fucking stand it. He's kind of a glutton for punishment, in a sense.
And a lot of that is taken from my childhood in the 70s. So I don't know. I think that's why in many countries the parents they could refer to that time, and but on the other hand, there was like the things they do. It could happen in the 90s as well.
Who's Jerry's dad based off of? That has to be someone in your life growing up.
He's based on Jerry's dad.
That's just it.
He was a PE teacher, and he was kind of hardcore.
Yeah. And but he also has like a fixation with the Amazon, and he collects that. He has all these stories. Is that just made up for the show, or is there truth to that as well? Because that's very random.
He was a PE teacher, and he was bicycling to his job 10 miles away every day, and he used to be in Congo and fighting for UN in the 50s, and so he was a tough guy.
Okay. He reminds me of my dad a little bit in ways.
Okay.
Yes, it's but anyone I've ever talked to who's a fan of the show, their favorite character is always Jerry's dad. He seems to resonate the hardest with everyone. I think we all grew up with that one friend whose dad we were batshit fucking scared of. And Jerry's dad he would definitely like hit you type.
He was a tough one.
Yeah. And then complaining about the name.
And actually that scene, I don't know if you remember the scene where in the intro where he drops those ant collection.
Yes.
That's actually happened.
Okay, so to tell me the story on that, dude.
I wasn't home at Jerry so many times because it was like he didn't bring his friends home so much. But one time I was there. His dad wasn't at home, but he would like to show his ant collection, and so I got there, and he got that glass jar.
Okay.
And just when he was going to show it to me, he dropped it, and it took like 2 seconds, and the whole his room there was ants everywhere. Oh, and his little mom come in, and she said, "Jerry, have you done this?" And then I had to go home because Jerry's dad was coming home soon.
Did you do any voices in the show?
Nope.
No? Okay. Nope. Have you done any voices in any of your shows, really?
Yeah, I've done several.
Several? Okay.
Mostly on the Swedish shows. In Jerry, I don't remember I did in Robin. Maybe I did some voices as well, but that was just the narrator and like.
So you were the narrator in Robin?
Nope.
No? Okay. Yeah, you kind of had a theme with that. There was a narration in Robin, which I always appreciated, and but then also something interesting is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when it does show them speaking, is it intentional gibberish, or am I missing something?
It is.
Okay, it's just gibberish. Yeah. Did you make all the music in Robin?
Yeah, I did.
So that awesome song that like repeats throughout the show whenever they're jamming that da ba da 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 da. So you made that.
Yeah, I did a lot of music for that show, and then we were sampling a lot, or I was sampling a lot. But when it was going to be, when we were produced the whole series, we took the samples, and I go to a studio in Toronto, and we did the samples again, but with real musicians.
You obviously have a vast taste in music, because just throughout the 3 shows that I'm most familiar that you did, I mean, there is ska, death metal, rap, especially into mob, obviously. Who was the band that did the theme for Three Friends Jerry, or is that you? Because not just the theme is ska, but just like throughout the whole series, it's always kind of like some two-tone.
I would actually love to do the music myself for Three Friends and Jerry, but it was a big co-production, and every country has to come in with some part in the production. So it was some British musician that did the series. I think it's okay. It's good. But
I've always loved it.
I was pushing that we at least should have the ska team or ska and reggae team in Three Friends and Jerry. I think.
Okay, I've always thought it fit quite perfectly, and also, I mean, Three Friends of Jerry kind of like is a time capsule of this little window of like when ska was really big, and then at the same time you're making fun of Hanson, the Johnsons, I believe you called them that, yeah. And then Spice Girls, who you called the Lady Girls, and I don't know. There's just something very soothing about every one of your shows when I watch it, but it's all like a different type of soothing. And Three Friends and Jerry really captures this 3-year window where that shit was very popular and whatnot. And you were kind of making fun of it, kind of nail on the head, but I feel like it might have been going over a lot of kids' heads, especially with the band Dog Son. Was there like a particular band that you were making fun of or paying an homage to with Dog Son? To me at that age, I was like, oh, it's death metal. But then when I listen back, it's I was singing the "Cross Your Body," "Doobie Doo" or something like that. But what?
It was so long. I don't actually remember everything about that. But it probably was, but I can't remember that. No.
Okay. Do you remember the lyrics? Because I know it's "Crush Your Body" and then the "Doobie Doo" or something.
No.
No, come on, man! I've been waiting 20 years for this. Tell me.
I had to watch it again. Then I maybe record it, but remember it. But
that's all good.
Not now.
So you were most like Thomas, you say, but Thomas only got a few episodes. Really, you didn't like give Thomas too many full episodes. I mean, you gave him the trait of never taking off his hat, which I noticed. I think in episode 3, there's almost like an error where his hat's being flattened down to his head by a board. But then after that, you more or less like settled that he just has a giant head. But what other?
I don't know where I get this. I think. Do you remember the film Conehead?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got the idea from some inspiration, at least from that, because I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay. And they're the only 4 in the town that have that head shape too. I guess I always loved that. Of course, to me over here, because Three Friends of Jerry dropped on Fox Kids in '98, and obviously we've talked a little bit. You know, I'm like a huge Beavis and Butthead fan and all that stuff. And then a year prior, South Park had came out, and it almost seemed like at the time Fox Kids was looking for something in between those two, and then they were trying to disguise it as a kids show over here. Because I remember not everyone had cable to see South Park the year it came out. So a lot of kids would come into school and they'd think they had seen South Park because they saw Three Friends of Jerry.
When was South Park premiered?
Late 97.
97, because it was HBO, right?
Comedy Central for us.
Comedy Central was maybe. All right, because we were pitching the idea for Comedy Central with Three Friends and Jerry before we turned it into a little more 11-year-old target group. They saw the pilot when they were drinking and smoking cigarettes and stuff like that. And,
dude, does that exist? Like, has anyone seen that?
Yeah, I think I have. I don't know, probably on VHS or something somewhere.
Well, that's the best format. You should like, you should get that out to the fans, man. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I can see if I have it somewhere. But they were after a while. We were speaking with Comedy Central, and they were saying, "How long have you come in this development with this series?" And they were, "Yeah, we are talking to you, and we are talking to someone." Oh yeah, and they were, "We are interested, but you know." We are, and then after a while they said, "We are actually on the same track with another series," and that was what's the name of it?
What was South Park?
It's South Park, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to throw me for a loop there.
So they were looking at both series.
Okay, so this is actually kind of fucking mind-boggling because pretty much it was between you and South Park in 19.
At least they told us. Maybe it wasn't at all, but they were looking at my series at the same time. But they
my God. Can you picture a world where Three Friends and Jerry is still making episodes 20 years later? Like South Park is.
I can see the money.
I bet, dude. Yeah. Was there a lot of merchandise? Because I have a friend in Sweden, Robert, and he's the dude that's, I think you follow him on Instagram, but he's the one who's helped me kind of amass a Three Friends and Jerry collection. Mm-hmm. The only thing I have that was released in America is, and sorry, my camera kind of sucks. It's just a postcard and it has Fox Kids in the corner. And I know that apparently Fox Kids released like a ceramic plate with like that same image in it as well. But I'm thinking that's the only merchandise we actually got in America. But Robert tells me that the show was like very popular in Sweden. Like everyone knew it. Adults loved it. Kids loved it. It was talked about at school and whatnot. Was there merchandising and whatnot besides the comics and the VHS tapes?
Not much. I don't remember. Maybe some T-shirts and some jackets or something like that.
And I would love to find a T-shirt, man. So sadly, no dolls of Frank.
No, I don't know why. Because we were a young company, and it was so much to doing the animation, and I think we weren't big enough to handle all that stuff at the time.
Man, that's a bummer. It really is. If I could go, speaking of the comics, if I could go into them, which I don't even want to call them all comics because, for example, this one almost is like it's set up like a kid's book.
Yeah.
Now, did these come out before or after the show had started airing?
After. It was when they were pretty well known because they wanted for kids that just start to learning to read. Okay. It should be very easy for them to read the story, and it should be something that they know, and it should be a little bit cool if you are 7 or 6 years old to read the Three Friends and Jerry instead of something with a beer and with you
did all the drawings and everything in these, I take it, correct?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think
they were quite stylized. It would go from like the outline to then just a full color page.
Yeah, it's definitely my characters, but I don't know if there was some from the films that I don't recall that.
I think I assumed that you did them because they're more vulgar than the show in a lot of ways. The best example, and this isn't just my favorite piece in my collection. This is one of my favorite things that I own. Is this comic right here?
Yeah, it's very good. That's nice.
Now, this was like sealed in a bag, and I think there was a warning sticker on it. Now, the other comics aren't that vulgar. Of course, you know the episode. Over here, it was called Forbidden Fruit, where Frank sees Monica naked, and he goes into a comatose shock until he sees her again, which snaps him out of it, and then he just probably grows up to be a pervert. But that's
one I remember I worked a lot with. So.
What blew my mind though when I got this, when I got this, I was hoping this was going to happen, was that you actually get some nudity and stuff in here, like, you know, and that's not it. I mean, it kind of like continues throughout, and that is when like I really, and that's when I actually.
But you know, 20 years ago, or 25 or whatever it was. It wasn't a big thing in Sweden, but I don't think I can do that today.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's what I've been told. The censorship and what's considered offensive and whatnot. Of course, it's always a cultural thing and whatnot. So obviously nudity is considered humorous, but that's not the type of thing back then that a parent would have picked up and necessarily got mad about their kid having, are you saying?
No.
See, obviously, it's completely different here. We're kind of told, like, notice sex, but feel bad for it. I mean, that's the American way.
Yeah, but you have. I remember when we had to blur a lot of nudity when we were doing stuff for the US at the time.
Well, I think that was the one that got complained. The teacher in the opening theme sequence, just the fact that her butt is more or less showing, like. And it's not even completely naked or anything. It's just outlined like a butt. And that just offended people so much over here, which kind of boggles my mind because Ren and Stimpy showed butts just fine and whatnot, but you were drawing humans. So I guess that's where the line gets crossed in America.
But every country at that time, I remember, they had their own issues. Or in England, for example, they were very... afraid of electricity. We have some scene where they were doing something with electricity, but we had to pull that.
Boy, that's so strange.
And in Norway, one of the episodes were banned because they were playing. They were speaking with the dead.
Oh yeah.
You know that? I don't know. What's the English word for it? You know, the game.
The Ouija board?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was, they couldn't air that in Norway because they were so religious. At least.
That's kind of awesome, though.
Yeah.
I think the one that you got away with over here that impressed me the most was that you called the priest Dick Priest. And the fact that at the end of most Dick Priest episodes, he's trying to ban heavy metal, but then he's secretly jamming it in his house with a bunch of fucking mounted frog heads up on the wall. And then there's the horror movie episode. What was the horror movie? It was like The Haunted Sweater or some shit like that. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you can't talk to me about the episode because there were so many and they were produced at very high speeds. I don't remember everyone.
Yeah, there were 80 episodes, crazy enough. Yeah. Well, if I can't talk to you about the episodes, I do want to ask you at least one question about them. Do you have a favorite?
I think it's probably the pilot I did that nobody had seen.
Bitch. Okay, well, then second question, what's one of the ones that aired that's your favorite, dude?
But I think we have some something in one of the other episodes. You probably remember. We were doing a game with Jerry and my gang when we were small kids, and it actually Jerry proposed it, and he said, "I'm going to lay down in the middle of the street with my bike on top of me and play dead." Have you heard that? Do you remember that?
I remember it in the show. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because that was in the trail in the promo as well, and that is actually also a true story. And he was lying there, and it ended with the PE teacher looking for him.
So, how does Jerry feel about this show?
I don't know him. I mean, it's not a documentary. It's
No, but I mean,
I have borrowed.
if one of my childhood friends,
some of my memories, and some things happened, but I have twerked it and twisted it, and So.
Okay. How long is that pilot? Is it like a full 20-minute episode?
No, it's a 7 minutes, I think. The first episode was 7 minutes, and then we done the.
Oh, that's right. I forget. They're broken into sections throughout a 20-minute episode. That's right. Yes.
No. Actually, I was the Free Friends started as I wrote it as a theater play for the Swedish radio.
That's right. You did mention to me that. Yeah, elaborate on that. What's that all about? Because I don't even think I necessarily understand what you mean by that.
They had at the time, I don't know if they have it still, but at the time they had theatrical plays or on the radio for adults and for kids. And I thought it would be a very good play for a radio series, but and they had it for several years, I think, and then I got it back and said, no, we can't.
Did that ever record?
No.
There was probably a script, I would imagine.
Yeah, I have a script.
Yes. And that would have been like what became the pilot with the kids smoking and cursing and whatnot, or?
Yeah. I think that was like in 1989 or 90 or something like that.
Wow. Do you remember the first time you drew those characters?
I guess 92.
92?
Yeah.
92. Wow, that's awesome, man.
I find I haven't got so much stuff here, but I find the style guide that we did.
What? No way.
For back in 97, I think it was.
No way, dude. Yeah, show me some of that.
Here is how everything should, because it was so many people involved in it. So every studio should have their own style guide, so they know exactly how to draw and everything.
Yeah, I'm familiar with how the style guide. Can you hold it up a little higher there, brother? Oh wow. It's funny too, because a lot of these images that you're showing is what ends up on all the merchandise that does actually exist and whatnot.
Oops. Yeah, that's how it works.
That's amazing. That is so cool, dude. Wow.
Because in that time, there wasn't so much computer. I mean, most of it was done in Korea. We had the actual animation.
Yeah, so Three Friends and Jerry was cell animated then.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever seen any of those? Any of the actual? Have you ever held any of the cells?
I think we draw. Yes, but it was not. It was colorized in computer.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So it was hand-drawn, pencil sketch, scanned in, and then colored digitally.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it worked. But for the test animation of every scene, they sent me 3 or 4 times a week a lot of VHS copies that I had to look at. So I was like, it was not very much computerized at that time.
Okay, gotcha. So obviously storyboards and then the pencil sketch and then it went to digital. Okay. Well, that's kind of crazy for 98. I know I talked to JJ Settlemeyer the other day for the show, and they animated the first 29 episodes of Beavis and Butthead, as well as the ambiguously gay duo. I don't know if you remember that, but he was talking about that process. And I think they were one of the first to really do it with the almost hand-drawn to digital animation. It's not, by today's standard, it's almost not digital animation.
Oh.
I guess, or whatever there. But that's really interesting. I always wondered, because for years I've been hoping to find a Three Friends of Jerry animation cell. So I guess technically I'm never going to find that.
No, I don't think so. But pencil sketches, there are maybe a lot of them somewhere.
I'll keep my fingers crossed, dude. Let's talk about the Mob. What do you have to say about the Mob? Because I love this show, and I don't even think I've seen every episode. And then it's documented online inaccurately. They say there's only 12 episodes. I've definitely seen more than 12 episodes. Can you tell me how many seasons there were of it, even, or anything like that?
I think there was 2. I don't remember it. Actually, I was me and a friend were sorry, I forgot. Well, we invited it, me and a musician friend of mine, 95 or 96 or something like that. And it took some years because before it was going to happen. And at that time, from being a very edgy show, it was like we had to work with German, and I don't remember what was the channel in, was it Fox still?
For the Mob, I honestly, I want to say so, but I don't think so, because I think it aired over here in 2000, 2001. And I think Fox Kids had probably changed its name to something else at that point, but it's probably the same network that got it.
Because it wasn't turned out exactly the way I wanted, because they wanted to make it more
kid-friendly there?
Kid-friendly also, to make it. And I said, why? But it's better that we design a kid-friendly show from the beginning. This is not the case, because they are adults and they are supposed to take drugs and drink and around and stuff like that.
Quote of the year: kids are supposed to take drugs.
But they were, it should fit to the Bible Belt, I think. And so I invented it, and I was designed the main characters and the world and everything, and then I dropped out actually in the first season.
So you just kind of created it and sold it then? You didn't sit there and make and write every episode by any means, huh?
No, I created the world for it.
What about the theme, the music? Did you do that?
I think no. It was my friend of mine, Peter, and wrote it, and he was at the time a big hip hop star in Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really
okay. Because there's actually 2 Da Mob CD singles. Mm-hmm. But the song that I think most would be familiar with is V Rocka Fett. And of course, you've heard this, right? I'm not Yeah, okay. Did you like that song? I fucking jam that at least once a week.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, it's a hell of a good song.
Yeah, and that's why they had a band in Sweden called Just Det, and they were like the biggest band at the time.
Say that again?
They were the biggest band at the time in Sweden.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
They played the same music as in Damöd, more or less.
you'll have to like message me that name because I'd like to hear more of this. So obviously this band just created a song and then it got pressed as a Demob song, but this band actually more or less sounded like that.
Or not the band, but there were three guys, but he was one of them.
Right. Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. Is it true that Jamie Kennedy voiced Rooster in America? He's this actor. He kind of sucks over here, but he always plays like a white guy who likes rap and stuff. So it kind of seems like fake. Because also
I don't know. I remember that I would like to have Iggy Pop and Lauryn Hill and those guys on, and I think they were.
Yeah, dude. So Iggy Pop voiced himself on the show?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Wow, okay. Did Tupac voice himself? I'm kidding.
No, but Lauryn Hill did, and also that British actor, I don't remember his
oh, yeah, I'm remembering the episode, but slips me.
Butler.
Well, that's pretty fucking insane. I mean, you got some big celebrities to do this show. And so wait. Because was the Mob originally like aired in Sweden? Is like its original version Swedish, or is its original version English?
Good.
Because I can't imagine.
I think it was made in English, and then we made it. Then we dubbed it to Swedish, I think.
Okay, so its intent was English for that, because I don't think Iggy Pop probably would have been able to speak Swedish. Is what made me wonder.
No.
Yeah.
But he speaks English in the Swedish version as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So the celebrities, they speak their own voices.
Okay, wow, that's crazy. I mean, all these years of watching it, I never sat there and even wondered if it really was Iggy Pop voicing himself. That's so cool, man. So sadly, are you not happy with the way Demob turned out, or just at the time you were like, this wasn't my vision?
I mean, it worked out all right, I think. But it wasn't my vision. It was not. I would like it to be tougher and harder.
No, gotcha. Well, I like how sweet and charming it is personally. So, I mean, it's not all that bad. People like me liked it at least, if that's any compliment to you. Although I would love to see the vulgar version too. I think Rooster would really shine if he was more of a dick. Now, there's also a rumor that's been online for the past 20 years that Trey Parker, one of the two creators of South Park, voiced one of the characters on Three Friends and Jerry. Now, there's no way that's true, right?
I haven't heard about that. I don't know. No, I don't think so.
No, I can't imagine so. I don't hear any voice that sounds like him or anything.
Because the English version in the Three Friends and Jerry, did you? You never did. There is no American voice English version. There is a mix of different American.
Hey, you're right. There are a lot of accents. Yes. Yeah.
So, because we did it in Sweden.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's a lot of lingo like
the English version. So we picked up, young kids from the English schools in Stockholm.
Okay, right on. So it wasn't necessarily a bunch of big name voice actors by any means.
No, I don't think so.
Did anybody get paid? No.
Yeah, they get paid. And in Sweden, we have big actors for the big for the adult voices. I mean, the PE teacher is a very well-known actor at the Royal Dramatic Theatre here in Stockholm. He had worked with Ingmar Bergman. So he's
okay. That's pretty cool. So he was probably the biggest name voice actor that you had on the original Swedish show.
Oh, I don't think there were several.
Oh, really? Okay. Of course, for me, they're all these people over my head. I think the only celebrity from Sweden I'm familiar with is you. So,
it's a beginning. It's a small beginning, but it's
honestly, I've romanticized moving to Sweden my whole life, and it's just because of Three Friends and Jerry. Even though it more or less feels exactly like the small town I grew up in.
But the village exists, so I think you can buy a house there pretty cheap.
What's the name of the village? Is it in Sweden?
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
I tell you when you get here.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, dude. I take it you don't want me in Sweden. That's okay.
But how come you have Swedish friends?
Honestly, I think Robert and I met as Beavis and Butthead fans, and then I think he was kind of blown away that I knew what Three Friends and Jerry was, and that I had like this passion for it, and so we just started talking from there and whatnot.
All right.
Yeah. So, your shows are creating friendships.
Yeah, that's great.
Robin then led to, well, can you tell the Radiohead story?
Well, I have made like a shorts of Robin, more or less myself in the beginning of the 90s, 93 or something like that. And they were shown at festivals in film festivals in Europe and all over the world, and it won some prize and so on. And I think some of the guys in Radiohead have seen that somewhere. So their manager called me and asked me if I would like to do a video for them, and I didn't, and I said yes, but I wasn't so familiar with the group at the time.
Oh, okay.
No. And then they sent me the OK Computer songs, and they asked me to do the Paranoid Android, and I get back to them because I like No Surprises better. You know, are you familiar with the song?
Am I familiar? Yeah, Radiohead was pretty freaking big around here, man.
I liked the song No Surprises, and I asked, can I do that instead? And they said, yes, you can, but there isn't so much budget for that one. And then I said, okay. Paranoid Android, that will do. So
okay. I love that video. It's freaking awesome, man.
Every song at that album is fantastic, I think.
Yeah, that album kicks ass. So I take it you became a fan.
Yeah. And then when I was supposed to do it, I was sitting in my studio and watching at the traffic outside for a whole day, I remember, and just played the song all over and over and over again. Not so much listening to the lyrics, but more get the feeling for it.
Yeah, you Stockholmed yourself with it.
And then the next day I wrote the whole storyboard for it.
And where did it necessarily come from? Because I wouldn't say that the video follows anything in the lyrics whatsoever, but I mean it is an episode of Robin in a lot of ways. Where did the ideas come from? What about the energy of the song made you do? You know, they got the dude with the fucking thing coming out of his stomach. You know, I mean, that's just you. I take it, or
no, that's European EU politician guy.
Say that again.
the European market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a politician from the European market in Strasbourg.
Oh, okay. So that's went over my head all these years. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know why I picked him, but I mean, it's the song is more like Bohemian Rhapsody in its construction, I think. So there are like 3 different songs in the same song.
Yeah, it's not necessarily just a verse, chorus, bridge structure by any means. Yeah.
So and that was I just saw different pictures, and then I make a story out of that. Right. I saw the angel in the helicopter, I remember, and I saw this perverted politician, and I saw Robin and Benjamin, and then I tried to make a story out of that.
That's awesome, buddy. Actually, sorry to backpedal on you a little bit here, but there's also a few things I've always wanted to ask about Three Friends and Jerry as well. Some of the other things that kind of got banned in the country or whatnot.
Here I found a card of Robin.
Oh wow! What is that? Like a little poster or? Oh,
that's a postcard.
Oh really? Oh, that's freaking beautiful. That's awesome, man. I love Robin. Is Robin was that the thing that was most closest to your vision that you've ever done? Like, obviously no one came in and said, change this and that. I mean, that's like 100% control for you.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Well, that says a lot about you. No, you're awesome, man. Why are Frank and Linda cousins if Frank wants to be with Linda so bad? Why did you go there? Was that supposed to be a joke? Or no offense, is that common in Sweden? Because over here, that's like Jerry Springer shit. So what?
Isn't that common in U.S. as well? Texas, at least.
Cousins getting together and whatnot. I think it's common, but commonly frowned upon as well.
Wasn't Jerry Lee married to his cousin?
Well, if you're a celebrity, you're allowed to do anything. So.
No, I don't know. I don't thought so much about it. I think
you just. Yeah. Also, another misconception. A lot of people over here thought that Vicious Oscar was a pedophile in town for some reason, and I never understood why everyone thought that. Outside of the brake slamming episode, he kind of like threatens to kiss them and stuff, but I always took that as a creepy old man trying to scare the kids away. Was there intent that he was supposed to be a pedophile in town?
No. But there was like in the village, there was one guy who was a drunk guy, and we all were a little bit afraid of him because he was, he couldn't do anything, we thought. But I don't remember him as a pedophile, and I don't think he was.
Okay.
But he was drunk all the time.
Okay. And so is Mr. Birtwistle, which I know, because see, for years, all I could find were all the episodes in Swedish. So for like 20 years, I've seen all 80 episodes, but up until last year, my friend Justin finally got me a rip of all of them in the English dub. And it's so crazy going so long, watching this show you love and not really knowing what they're saying, but still enjoying it just as much. And then all of a sudden you get the translation and they kind of masked over that Mr. Birtwistle was a drunk and the American version. There's only one joke they left in where the kids are caroling and he offers them all beers instead of money. And even the kids are like, we're kids. He's like, oh yeah, that's right. Was he written intentionally to be just like a huge drunk, more or less?
He was an old military man, and he was retired when he was like in his 40s or something.
That's right. And he kind of has like a time capsule in his basement or something of just pointless relics that he's latched onto.
I don't remember. I just remember when he was slaughter hens down in his cellar. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was something with the time cap. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I should be the one that remembers because it's one of my favorite shows. But I remember that it kind of builds up throughout the episode, and then when you find out, it's nothing really that glamorous by any mean or anything that scary. He just seems like a dude who's stuck in the past and super fucking depressed and drunk.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what he was supposed to be. Also, he was.
I always loved that. I always thought there was some beauty to that.
It's a melancholic kind of feeling for him.
Yeah. Well, but then of course Jerry's dad thinks he's a freaking a low-life bum who just sits around and drinks all day and is taking down his property value. It was a perfect dynamic right there. I absolutely love that. Why did you name the priest Dick Priest, though? Was that an intentional joke? Because I remember that blew my fucking mind when I was 11. I was like, did I just hear that type thing?
Don't remember. I had a classmate, or maybe on the class below me, and his name was Dick. So I just think he should. I think I took the name from him actually, but he was no priest. He was a kid.
Okay. Mimi, Linda, and Tess. Are those girls that you grew up with, more or less, or?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, like verbatim. Like, was Mimi actually adopted and all that?
Yeah, she was.
Oh wow. Okay. How did they feel about their appearance? So it wasn't flattering.
No, they were. But they were. I'm just, as I said before, I'm picking some character here and some character there, and they make a new character out of them. But there was a little girls gang like that as well.
They're more or less the mean girls.
Or I don't know. We thought they were like. Weird but lovable.
Okay. What I love about the show to this day is that it captures how everybody in school is such a try-hard. Obviously, the three friends and Jerry are always trying to impress the girls, and the girls always feel like they are unimpressible in the same sense. But then when it comes to Tony and Monica and older kids, then you get to really see that they're more or less just as much like the three friends as they wouldn't want to be and whatnot. And I completely commend that about the show. I don't think enough shows really captured that dynamic in kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. It's one of my favorite shows of all time, and it always will be. And it really is an honor just to talk to you and talk about it and whatnot. So thank you for all that you've done. I mean, you kick ass, really.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I'm not done yet. I know that sounded like a segue out of it, but you said you're mostly like Thomas. Elaborate on Eric, because Eric only gets one episode in the entire series, and it's where he more or less wants to bang the new teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Eric was, he was the sports guy. He was
That's
good.
True. He has his cleats on. Yeah.
He was good in sport, and he played soccer all the time. And also he was a little bit of the maybe he was a little bit like Jerry, but he was he didn't have that energy in him.
Yeah, he almost kind of was in a sense. Jerry and Frank are obviously the main characters. And then you got Thomas and Eric, and they almost don't get too much character development throughout it. Was that kind of the goal, though, to make it like these might be the two other main characters, but they're more observers than anything?
But it is like in Seinfeld, for example. Seinfeld he's not the funny character. He's just some neutrum in the middle.
Yeah.
And you have to build character around Seinfeld, and they are the characters that really are fun. So to have that kind of tension between the characters, you have to have some more low-key character and some angry character and some, So,
can I ask what your inspirations are? What you grew up loving cartoon-wise? I mean,
I didn't like Flintstones. Flintstones I liked when I was little.
Yes.
Flintstones. And also some Swedish cartoons that were very childish, but I like the concept where there was a narrator and the non-language underneath, and the slow paced and stuff like that. That's from several of the Swedish series for children in the early 70s. Otherwise, it's South Park and Beavis and Butthead, of course.
You are a fan of Beavis and Butthead?
Beavis and Butthead was because I was I started as going to art school and as a painter and for several years. But I was also playing in bands and doing music, and did like to write stories, and and then when MTV started back in 84 or something.
81 over here anyways, but
in the beginning of the 80s. Then I realized that here is everything that I'm interested in. I'm talking about the animated IDs they have.
Oh, those were awesome. All the bumpers, yeah.
That's when I first really was interested in animation, because that was everything I liked with writing a story, music thing, and not for kids. It was like for myself and for teenagers and young adults. And so that's why I was going to, I had been to several art schools for several years, and I was painting, and I was thinking, what should I do with these paintings? Nobody ever is going to see. Then I realized that I should go to animation and try that, because that was everything I liked in the same medium.
Well, that's really interesting, actually, because the first guy I interviewed for the show, J.J. Settlemeyer, he did a good majority of those MTV bumpers that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So that's a small world, man. And those were awesome. MTV around that time, especially with the animation, I take it Eon Flux and the Max. Did you like all those and whatnot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff was pretty groundbreaking. And then, so you are a fan of Beavis and Butthead then?
Yeah, at least in the beginning, but I heard they are coming back.
They are coming back. Well, they came back 10 years ago, and now they're coming back now again.
But what can they make jokes about?
Because music videos aren't relevant anymore?
Mm.
Who knows? Who knows? I have high hopes for it. You know, I just talked to Christopher Brown, who was the head writer for it in the 90s. He was the interview before yours the other day. And I'm just hoping he gets on board with it and stuff, because it is a different time, obviously, and whatnot. So well, I guess we'll all see how it goes.
I used to work with Ray Kusarin. He was one of the features of Beavis and Butthead Do America, I think.
He worked on the movie?
Yeah, I think he was one of the directors.
Oh, no shit. Okay. The name doesn't ring a bell, but that's pretty crazy.
Because he did several of the Three Friends and Jerry shows.
Is he the dude that I have talked to one of the writers of Three Friends and Jerry on Instagram, and he told me that he was going to relay a message to you. Is that the guy you're talking about by chance?
No, Ray Kusarin, he's living in New York.
Oh, okay. But
I think that was one of the main writers, Håkan.
Yes, because I contacted him and I gave him like 2 paragraphs about how much the show means to me, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to relay this to Magnus," and I'm like, "Oh man, you know, I freaking."
Håkan was a good writer.
He said it was the most freedom he felt he's ever had writing for a show, so that's a hell of a compliment right there.
Mm-hmm. But he understands the world and could.
Yeah. Well, it is an awesome world that you created with that one. There's always a comfort whenever I put that show on. It's honestly everything you do has some sort. I guess it just resonates with it, you know, who it resonates with. Have you seen this one YouTube video where a guy made a list of the top 10 worst animated shows from Sweden?
No.
And I swear to God, like 7 of the 10 cartoons you fucking made. He just like, I don't even think he realizes that it's you who made all these. He's just like, look at how ugly this is. Why would anyone do this? And then he gets to the next one. He's like, look at this. This is awful. And I got so defensive because I felt like one of the few people who clicked the video was like, well, wait a minute. This guy's just bashing Magnus over and over again. I'll have to send you the link. Maybe you'll get a kick out of it. But the guy fucking hates you.
But that's life.
That it is, brother. That it is. Were you happy with the Paranoid Android video when it came out and everything? I mean, if you look that up right now on YouTube, I think it has 50 million views. I mean, it's unfreaking believable.
I think 28, actually.
28 million?
28 million.
Well, who's counting?
I actually checked it out the other day. I haven't seen that for a long time, but I think it was 28.
I mean, that's arguably probably the most viewed thing you've done on YouTube, I would imagine. Is that like a high achievement accomplishment? What is your proudest thing that you've done up to this point? Because I know you're still going, obviously.
I think it's the Robin series, not for its looks, but for the feeling and the freedom in doing that and stuff like that.
Well, it gives that off, right? There is something very freeing, and there is an escape to that show. It always makes me.
Have you seen the latest video I did for some British?
The rap group? With the moose and the shotgun? Yeah, I watched it the other day. That shit was awesome. Now, how did that all come up?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but that's a new artist that they are trying to.
Well, so you're friends with the dude?
No, they asked me if I would like to do it, and it's the same thing there. It's a lot of freedom, and
oh, you went balls out with that one, dude.
yeah, and that's I kind of like it. I like the song as well.
Yeah, I did too. I like the whole video. Yeah, I watched it too. I watched it 3 times actually. It's quite funny. You're definitely getting to put all of you into it in that one again, and I love it when people don't hold you back by any means. So there's often a reoccurring theme of moose, which I didn't get as a kid, that moose were so common in Sweden. I think that was the first indication to me that this show isn't American. Mm-hmm. It probably should have been all the accents and the fact that they're calling cookies crisps and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But me at 11 years old, I'm like, well, why the fuck are there just moose everywhere? Or mises. I don't know what the plural of that or whatever is. But
mooses, I think.
Is it mooses?
Yeah, I should say that.
Yeah, all right.
Did we have any moose in the Tre Friends and Jerry? I don't remember that.
Yeah, dude, there's like an episode where the people are hunting.
I remember the ostrich, but
well, of course, there's the ostrich one with Thomas there, where his parents think he's. I mean, he like hits his head and is in a coma for a week, and then because an ostrich steals his hat, his parents just assume he was turned into an ostrich. What terrible parents! I hope your parents. That one's not based off a true story. I hope.
No, it was not.
Because you said Thomas was more relatable to you, so.
But Moses, okay. I have to check the serial, the thing again. I think. Did
you because sadly I always thought that the last episode of Three Friends and Jerry is just another episode. Was there ever a way where you would have ended it if you were told, like, make a final episode or anything like that?
I haven't thought about that.
No.
You know, I'm a bit slow. I have to think if I have a question like that, I have to think for a while.
Well, if it ever comes to you, send me a message, man, because I'd love some closure on some of my favorite characters here. And don't just tell me that Frank bangs his cousin or something like that, all right?
No, that had never happened.
I'm just fucking with you, man. You do kind of, and maybe it doesn't come across that way in Sweden, but you do kind of have like a pornographic imagery going about a lot of the things you do. I mean, Robin especially, there's just strippers and all that stuff. I mean, are you a fan of like Fritz the Cat and Crumb and that type of stuff? Or
yeah, I am.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's how I always described Three Friends and Jerry to people when I was a kid. I was like, it's like a kid's version of something Robert Crumb would do. So I don't know. I hope that's a compliment.
Yeah, it is. I love it. Is he still alive?
Dude, yeah, I'm pretty sure, but I'm also not pretty sure. I haven't looked that one up in a while.
Because most of the thing that I remember with him is from the 70s.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I have a few of his books, and they're all from that era. And one of my best friends actually has Fritz the Cat tattooed up on him. Have you ever seen? I've seen a Robin tattoo online. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen several. People are sending me stuff that they are doing.
Have you ever seen a Three Friends and Jerry tattoo?
My son actually have one.
Really? Wait, what is it of?
It's on Eric, I think.
It's Eric?
It's Eric.
No shit.
I don't know why.
What'd you say? I don't know why. What, did he just like spring that on you one day? Like, hey, I got one of your cartoons.
He's got a Robin tattoo as well.
Well, that's pretty fucking awesome, dude. Your son obviously looks up to you, man. That's pretty. Is your son into animating or anything?
No, he used to be a model, but now he's making.
And he got a tattoo of Robin and the career fell, or?
No, he's in the shoe business. He have his own label in shoe.
Okay.
Shoe label. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty crazy, man. Well, I do intend on getting a Three Friends and Jerry tattoo someday. I'll be sure to send you a picture when I do.
Yeah. I can design one for you if you want.
Please do. Are you going to do it right now, or are you? You're going to design one. You said.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here! You would do that for me?
Yeah. Can I have the whole chest or?
Well, a little bit of the chest is already. I already got some boobs right there and stuff. So, let's see. The arms are all full. Let's see. Give me something about that big, man. I'll get it tattooed on me.
All right.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but if you really do it, I promise I'll get that thing tattooed.
Yeah. I have the style guide here, so it's
You could, so I can remember how I draw. When's the last time you actually drew those characters out, man?
I do sometimes when I get letters from kids and they want to have an autograph and something like that, but not very often.
Do you have a favorite design of a character that you've ever done?
I have to think.
I know I'm putting you on the spot today.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's like your kids. You love all of them. So
yeah,
it's hard to say.
That makes sense. Well, man, God, I mean, you offered to design me a tattoo. It's probably the perfect note to end on right there. Jesus Christ. Thank you a million for doing this, man. It's a high freaking honor. It really is. I mean, I just think about me being obsessed with this show since I was 11 to the point of watching it for 20 years in a language that I couldn't understand. And now I get to sit here and talk to you for a minute. And it's just, it truly is an honor, man. Thank you for everything you've done, because I'm just a big fan and I just appreciate the hell out of you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk some other time.
Yeah. I'd love to. Yeah. All right, buddy. Well,
I send you the tattoo sketches.
So you're really going to do that?
Of course.
Son of a bitch. Let me shake your hands, Magnus. Hey, right on, dude. Right on. Hey, thanks, brother.
All right.
I'll keep in touch.
Yeah. Bye.
Take care, man.
Hey, I'm getting a tattoo on my butt.
Go ahead, show.
And it like sucks.